16 Stanford University, 1995. Larry Page and Sergey Brin met during their computer science studies at the university. They had initially clashed, but they ended up creating a collaboration that would change the field of information retrieval and search forever. So they began this journey by sharing a common background in the power of what the internet could do and how to make all information available at our fingertips. Here is a detailed statement describing how Google was made, what were the features it added to the world, and why such philosophy. Early years. How it all started. Larry Page, alum of University of Michigan, kicked around Stanford as a potential graduate school in 1995. Page was being shown around the campus by another student who had already started, Sergey Brin. While they first clashed on a few points, their divergent views quickly gave rise to what would become Google. Not until 1996 would the pair start on a research project that they dubbed Backrub. Backrub was unlike other search engines at the time, which ranked web pages based on keyword density and meta tags. It instead focused almost solely on analyzing backlinks, or listings of links pointing to a particular website. Back then, the number of web pages linking to a page was an indication that it was popular. The intent of the project was to move towards quality and relevance rather than exact matches for keywords. Backrub was created to determine how much the web loved everyone. Larry Page simply wanted some insight on the link structure of this here internet thing. He hypothesized that counting inbound links could enable him to gauge the importance of web pages in much the same way that citations do for academic papers. Sergey Brin entered the project, and with him they created an algorithm on which this marking was built. Later it became PageRank. This was a revolutionary departure from the usual search engine practice of allowing customers to match phrases and keywords according to their preferences. The birth of Google. The Backrub project was fortunate enough to begin attracting lots of traffic, but this also exposed the limitations that came with using Stanford's computing resources. They solved this problem by creating a network of cheap computers, an approach to distributed computing that is still being used at Google today. The project proved to be successful, and they started thinking about solving this as a way for people to discover information on the internet. They want to change the name of their search engine with a new brand that describes their own mission: organizing the world's enormous information on internet. They went with the name Google, a pun on the word Google, which is 1 followed by 100 zeros. That name represented their broadly ambitious goal to arrange the profusion of data on the web. Funding and early launch of Google. The future holds promise for Google, but the startup needed help with financing. They required more money to keep and expand their search engine, so they approached different investors. The very first backer of Google was Andy Bechtolsheim, a co-founder of Sun Microsystems, who wrote $100,000 check to Google Inc., an entity that did not yet legally exist. These and other funds allowed Page and Brin to formally incorporate Google as a company on September 4, 1998. Google began in Susan Wojcicki's garage, back when she wasn't one of the most important execs at Google, and eventually became CEO over at YouTube. Despite Google's early success in quickly building up a following of users through rolling out their simplistic user interface and providing more relevant search results, in 1999 it was processing over 500,000 searches per day, an astonishing volume in those days. What made Google different? Google differentiated itself with its PageRank algorithm, which placed higher value on sites that had more high-quality links pointing back to them in search results. This was a complete departure of other search engines and the time, which focused on ranking pages by frequency and similar signals that existed in a page. PageRank allowed Google to identify the most relevant and precise search results, so it quickly became a favorite of everyday users on the web. Google reiterated the importance of PageRank, but added that simplicity and speed were key. Other search engines had busy interfaces, filled with ads and portals to other pages. Google's homepage was fresh-looking and plain, with a simple display of the company logo and a single search bar. It was because it resonated with the users due to its minimalist approach and uncluttered experience of faster load times. Google's rise and growth. At the time, Google was still growing and seeking new ways to make money from its search engine. That inspired the creation of AdWords, a mechanism for businesses to pay Google to be more visible in that all-important list alongside search results. Significantly, AdWords was the first to use a PPC, pay-per-click, model. Advertisers only pay when users click their ads, launched in 2000. Thanks to this targeted advertising campaign, Google developed the main sources of its income and future profitability. The company hired Eric Schmidt as CEO in 2001 to come and manage the hypergrowth. That Schmidt would come in and run the business side while Page, Brin managed Google's technology. The company entered new markets and bought valuable entities, not to mention continued the development of numerous products beyond its search engine. Gmail, Google Maps, and Google News all benefited from use of the search technology to create a more powerful experience for users on the internet. The IPO and continued growth. On August 19, 2004, Google went public in one of largest and highly anticipated initial public offering, IPO. The IPO dramatically increased the wealth of many employees and investors, including that of Forbes itself. Many aspects of Google's finances were not public before their August 2004 S1 was released. The funds also allowed Google to continue expanding its operations while investing in new technologies, including fuel cell technology. Following the IPO, Google began to buy up companies and technologies in order that it could bring its range of products live. Notable acquisitions are YouTube, 2006, as online video emerged as big trend, Google saw the potential and purchased YouTube for $1.65 billion in stock. YouTube would grow into one of Google's most significant properties, making it the largest video sharing platforms in the world. DoubleClick, 2008, Google cemented its dominance in online advertising with DoubleClick's $3.1 billion display ad serving capabilities. Android, 2005, early days of the acquisition. This may be Google's cleverest purchase, although it did not attract much notice at first. Android would go on to become the most popular mobile operating system in the world, hot-wiring Google into ascendancy as a smartphone superpower and fueling further growth of mobile search. Innovation. The Google way. The inventions at Google had well surpassed the original search formula. The company has long been known for its 20% time policy, which allowed engineers to spend 20% of their work week on side projects they were passionate about, an ethos that fostered a culture of first-hand experimentation and product development. From this policy, you get famous products and services like Gmail, Google News, or even Google Cardboard. So what was the driving factor that led to Google's success? How about their slogan, "Don't be evil," which tied strongly with ethical business practices and user-centric design? This philosophy shaped the company's design for everything you ever loved about Apple, and its stance on privacy and advertising, skipping from 37 to 20 to 39 to 58. This worked in their favor too, as Google was also able to produce innovative products such launch date for Google Maps line, 2005 description. Initially, Google Maps enabled users to see different levels of street and satellite images as well as driving directions through the service. With the introduction of Street View in 2007, the site became an essential mapping tool, allowing users to explore cities across all 7 continents. Gmail. What it did in 2004, launched as an invitation-only service, Gmail changed the game by serving up 1 GB of free storage, way more than any other provider at that time. Its threaded conversation view, filters and search made it a much better email service. Google launched its own web browser Chrome in 2008. Due to the high speed of Chrome, simplicity and strong security features allowed it entered in one monumental quarter where Internet Explorer and Firefox had occupied a long-lasting first place respectively. Android. Google purchased Android Inc., which eventually allowed the company to create a mobile operating system that now owns over half of all smartphones. Google brought everything from search to services into Android, tying it all back to the underlying Google branding and ecosystem. Google Assistant and AI. Google is betting everything on artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning. Enter the Google Assistant, an AI-powered assistant to make your life easier through voice commands. Google has also put AI in their search, marketing, and other services. Google Cloud Platform. This brings us to cloud computing, one of the most lucrative markets on earth today. We take no points away from where credit is due at Google with this, as they came into it full throttle, offering similar services than others in that space for companies looking to build and host applications. Google's cloud services are a key cornerstone of its business strategy, competing with the likes of Amazon Web Services, Oz, and Microsoft Azure. What is the missions and philosophies? Larry Page and Sergey Brin had a mission from the very beginning: to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Their vision was to do more than just build a search engine. The big audacious idea they held in their heads is a world where information could be instantaneously accessed by anyone, anywhere. Thus, Google's mission as an organization has always been the same, and this mission is what has driven them to spread their roots into all of these different sectors. The founders wanted to democratize information and build tools that simplify people's access on information. This focus on speed, precision and simplicity came from a core belief that technology should not just work for people, but it ought to be making their lives more efficient. They saw Google as not just a search engine, but more so as an information utility that should be accessible by every human being. The evolution into Alphabet Google was reorganized as a subsidiary of the conglomerate Alphabet Inc. in 2015. Under Pichai, who was elevated to the role of CEO in 2019 as part of at Google.com on Twitter just rebadge Alphabet restructure. Google began this process back in 2020. The restructuring aimed at enabling Google to focus solely on its core internet products and leave other initiatives such as self-driving cars, Waymo, or life sciences, Verily, under Alphabet's umbrella instead. That move allowed the company to more efficiently run its expanding array of businesses and keep throwing spaghetti at well-wired wall on ambitious, moonshot, projects. Google's impact on society. Google has a power far beyond any single search engine. This company has changed how people consume and access information, do business or communicate. It is a part of our daily life, especially search engines, web browsers, email, online maps, or mobile operating systems, and video sharing as well. Wiederman should know, this influence has helped transform Google into one of the largest and most influential companies in history. But its success has also bred criticism. The company's dominance in search and online advertising has sparked concerns over privacy, data collection from users, legal challenges to its status as a monopoly of the space where it operates. Google, which has been under a number of antitrust inquiries from governments that challenged its business practices for impeding on competition. The future of Google is expanding quite well, and still seems to be on track for their mission of organizing the world's information. The company is now pouring resources into AI, quantum computing, and other very futuristic things that could reshape the face of search and well beyond. By promoting an innovation-focused culture and building a reputation for adapting to new challenges, Google is dedicated to remaining leaders in the tech industry as well as making meaningful contributions across sectors. Conclusion: by following big ideas through to their fruition, Google went from a PhD research project all the way up past Googleplex and into that fabled land of abundance. And in the process, created a new model of how people interact with information. The cat that inspired you to invent Google circa 1996, your brilliant Stanford project turned world-beating search engine and online behemoth. What was going through your mind? Google succeeded in outperforming its competitors and becomes a mandatory existence of life. The secret to this success lies not only as user experience, where it put most % than any else competitor software, but also simplicity, methods, and relevance. Google now is on the cutting edge of high technology, shaping whole industries from artificial intelligence to cloud computing. Looking to the future, this mission of making information universally accessible by Google is still just as relevant. Thank you for watching. We will be uploading more informational and interesting mystery videos. So kindly please like, share and subscribe. Do not forget to turn on the bell button so that you may be notified when I upload new interesting videos for you. Stay tuned. Bye.